We all need to vent today. How's it going, everybody? I wanted to do a little bit of a live stream group therapy session this morning. So hang on just a second here. I've got some issues with my sound. So here's the deal. Last night, the Yankees opted to use Wandy Peralta to start the ninth inning. And Clay Holmes, according to Boone, was sore and was unavailable to pitch. Right? So, I don't know. It felt suspicious. And then after the game, Holmes said that he was available. And so there's definitely some kind of a miscommunication going on between those two. There's definitely something going on there. And Mr. B Production says, this feels like 2019. My heart aches. And Futai says, do you think Boone will be gone if we lose? You know, I didn't think so before last night. I really didn't. I felt like, you know, he had done enough of a job during the regular season, you know, winning 99 games with a team that was not expected to do that much, that, you know, he pretty much earned himself another year of that contract. But with the whole miscommunications thing and the way that last night's game ended up working out, where, you know, you've got different accounts from your closer and your manager. You factor in that a couple of people have quit on this team this year, Aroldis Chapman, Joey Gallo. That feels like a problem with management. I don't know. I'm not inside the clubhouse. I can't tell you. Daniel Jock says, how did you sleep last night? Awful. Awful. Kevin Perez did not sleep well either. Ian's Insight says, Cole is going to throw a no-hitter tonight. We'll take it. If he does, I'll send you a NYY Recaps hoodie. Hey, Lori C says, does this therapy session come with medication? Sorry, I can't write any prescriptions, but you're welcome to self-medicate. I know I would like to. Let's see here. Billy Joel says, well, I'm living here in Allentown. Isn't that the name of a Billy Joel song? And Dr. Van Nostrand says, Booney's got some explaining to do. Welcome to membership to Leroy. Thank you so much. I think it's interesting how the playoffs have played out. I mean, the Dodgers won 111 games during the regular season, and they just got eliminated by the Padres. The Braves won the World Series last year, and everybody's talking about how great their GM is and, you know, how they've locked everyone up, and they look like they could be at the beginning of a dynasty, similar to the 90s teams. Although that wasn't really a dynasty, they only won one World Series, but they appeared in several World Series. Until the Yankees beat them in 99, there was a real competition as to team of the decade. I mean, that was what that series was essentially set to determine. The Yankees won, but, it was looking like the Braves were building right back into that level of performance. But what you're seeing is that the playoffs are kind of a crapshoot. You get, inside the park home run here and then a bloop single there. I mean, you run into a hot bat. Bryce Harper is red hot. Daniel Jack says, I'm scared Judge won't come back. Me too. Mr. Top Gaming says, how much does membership cost? It's $5 a month, and it's a way to support this channel so that I can keep putting out good content. What I try and do is invest all the money, essentially, that people contribute to this channel into making the channel better. I've added a couple of new pieces of software. I have a voicemail line now this year, so I try and invest all the membership dollars into keeping the channel as good as it gets. Jocelyn says, we have to win today and we have to do better. And Kyman says, fire Boone. Seen a lot more calls to fire Boone today than we've seen in a while. And then Jalen Wood says, why oh why are starters coming out of the bullpen? That happens often in the playoffs. It's just one of those things where you run out of arms, right? You run out of guys in the bullpen, and so they're bringing in, guys who can give them some length, maybe have a repertoire of pitches. But the problem with Clark Schmidt is that his command and his mechanics are not good. He's always had a tough time throwing strikes, and putting the pressure on him like that, I guess he's got to feel the pressure at some point. But I felt like this was not the time. I felt like this was not the time to screw around. Clay Holmes was apparently ready to go. To me, he's got to start that inning, or at least, let Peralta get the first out and then go to Holmes and say, get me 2 outs. Douglas Rouse says, Cole wins tonight, Tyone wins tomorrow, Nestor Cortez gets us a win in game 1.
Absolutely.
I hope so. I'll take it. I'll sign up for it right now. Cole Rich Key says, I want Benintendi left field defense back. Yeah, I think Benintendi probably would have caught both of the bloops to left field in this series. Not necessarily because he's a better athlete than Oswaldo Cabrera. Cabrera is a good outfielder, I think. But I think he would have positioned himself better against a left-handed hitter, like Ramirez in the first one. You want to play kind of in and off the line. Now, the ball was more towards the line, but he would have been in, and I felt like Cabrera was still playing kind of deep. Last night, I think it was a right-handed hitter, and so, you don't blame him for playing deep. It was just a tough play, but I think that Benintendi probably would have run it down. He's just a little bit faster than Cabrera. Joseph's Dream says, do you provide electroshock therapy? Sorry. Jake Lizzie says, if George was alive, it will be different. It would be different. Well, that's the thing, though. Human beings don't live forever. What was important was for the younger Steinbrenners to carry on his legacy of win at all costs. But, I'm watching Harper and Machado play each other in the NLCS now. And, we didn't go out and do everything we could to get those guys. We could have signed Bryce Harper and Manny Machado that winter. Could have happened. I mean, eventually we opted for Giancarlo because it was a little cheaper. And you got him a year earlier. Yankees had a nice run in 2017. They had Stanton with the thought of, well, maybe we can get over the hump in 2018 rather than wait for 2019 when it looked like it was going to be, the window opening up. But they chose to get Stanton. They chose to sign Garrett Cole. I still think the Yankees could have had Garrett Cole and still had Harper or Machado or both. I mean, let's be real. This is a rich ball club. And they used to not really care about the luxury tax, But spending doesn't necessarily guarantee you a win. We've seen that now. The Mets spent more than anybody, and they lost. The Dodgers spent nearly as much, and they're done. The Yankees outlasted both of them. AJ says, will Domingo start tomorrow if we win tonight? I think it's going to be either Domingo or Jameson Tyone. I also think Nestor Cortez opening up could be a possibility. Maybe he gives you 2-3 innings. And then you go to Domingo Germán. It's going to be a bullpen game probably. They're going to use 5 or 6 different pitchers. Leroy says, Waldo is a shortstop. 100% agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And Mike Rotonda says, Cole needs to earn his money tonight. And then Doug, with a point that, we've seen reinforced year after year. It's not always the best team that wins in October. It's the hottest team. And that is 100% correct. 100% correct. Welcome to membership to Armand. Appreciate that. Lori says his goal needs to shove. I agree. I mean, if there's ever been a time for him to unleash the guy who threw that 138 pitch shutout against the Astros a couple years ago, tonight's the night. And then you got to do it again next round, unfortunately, if you somehow eclipse, the Indians here or the Guardians. I think one of the reasons that I keep saying Indians instead of Guardians isn't just because, I've said Indians for a long time. I think it's because it rhymes. They should have gone with a name that didn't rhyme because it's just too easy to make that mistake. Mike Rotunda thinks that if we lose tonight, Judge is gone and Boone is gone. It's certainly a possibility. It's certainly a possibility. And Emmanuel Munoz says Oswaldo profiles more as a second base and third baseman, but still a good shortstop. I think I could agree with that. I've seen him, look really good in right field too. I think he profiles as a pretty good right fielder. And then Sehaj says, so stressed. Can we please get a closer? Be nice if they got one this winter, but that might be too late. Regular Snippets says Carp needs to start. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Here's how I would do it tonight. I would go with Matt Carpenter at DH, Giancarlo Stanton in left field, and then Oswaldo Cabrera at shortstop. Possibly IKF at third base just because you want contact. But also, it's worth noting that Donaldson was 2 for 2 off of tonight's starting pitcher in Game 1. So I think he'll be in the lineup at third base, which means that, you got a decision to make. Do you want Cabrera in there who, has a little bit of pop and can play shortstop? Or do you want IKF, who's been your shortstop for most of the season? Personally, I think now's not the time to play favorites. I think you have to go with the hot hand. Oswaldo has hit 7 home runs since he's come up. We know that the team that hits more home runs in the playoffs typically wins. And look, he's got to be feeling good after last night, after swinging the bat as well as he did. And IKF, I think it's starting to get into his head mentally a little bit on defense. So that's the way I would do it. Emmanuel says if they win tonight, they win Game 5. Well, Game 5 is at home, so we'll have that going for us. Let's see here. And then Home Plate says, even if we get past this round, I don't think we have a championship pitching staff. That may be true, but as we've already established in this chat, luck and getting hot at the right time can really make a difference. If Garrett Cole pitches lights out tonight, lights out, okay? And the Yankees advance to Game 5. Maybe the Yankees score 6 runs in the first inning of Game 5. And you have a nice stress-free game, bullpen game. Let's say you win tonight, 4-0. You win tomorrow, 7-2. You have 2 nice bounce-back games in a row. You're feeling good. You go to the ALCS. Well, then in ALCS Game 1, as Doug pointed out, you could have Nestor Cortez going in Game 1, who had a 2.44 ERA, and I'll take it against anybody. And then all of a sudden, if he gives you a win there, you snatch home field advantage in the ALCS. And you have a chance to win it at home. Now, maybe I'm just thinking too optimistically. But, it's not over till it's over. And I really don't want to post my post-mortem video tomorrow. Sehaj says, honestly, Hicks has to start.
Just a bit outside.
I don't think so. Hey, NYY News TV in the house. How's it going, Pete? Pete streams pretty much every game. One of the harder workers among us Yankees content creators. Thanks for stopping by. AJC says, is there any other good managers this winter that are available? Don Mattingly, possibly. I mean, he's a Yankees legend. You want him to get a Yankees World Series ring. That would be nice. But, he hasn't been an amazing manager. He did win Manager of the Year one year, but he might not be the right guy for the Marlins right now. Maybe he is the right guy for the Yankees. I honestly don't think that the Yankees will remove Aaron Boone. I just don't see it. They've committed to him to a 3-year contract. They're not going to blame last night's loss on Boone. They're going to blame it on the players, on the pitching staff. But I think the guy you really need to take a look at is Cashman. Cashman has passed up on way, way too many, potential game changers. Bryce Harper alone, not signing him was a fireable offense, in my opinion. Douglas Rouse says, how would a fit of Brandon Nimmo be for this team in next year? I'm going to talk about him a little bit in my postmortem. I'm working on a section on free agents with Ryan Garcia of Fireside Yankees. We're talking about some different guys. I don't think the Yankees are going to be big spenders this winter, so somebody like Nimmo, who's kind of I guess, a bargain. It would fit the Yankees' MO. I think they're going to spend on Aaron Judge. I think they're going to give him, probably 10 years, $400 million, and say, have a couple of great years, and we'll earn it back in jersey sales and things like that on the front end, and hopefully you'll win a championship. I find it hard to believe the Yankees won't win a championship over the next 10 years. So, I think they're gonna offer him a humongous contract. Does that mean that they'll offer him the biggest contract? No, it doesn't. I think that Cohen with the Mets could very well offer him an even bigger deal. Esai the Chef says Padres will trade Tatis for more pitching and sign Judge in his place. That's a scenario you could see. Tatis seems to have fallen out of favor a little bit with the Padres. And the fact that they've made it as far as they have without him, shows that they don't really need him, But somebody like Judge got to be very appealing to the Padres, especially if they don't win this series. Kian Patel says Girardi maybe. I think that ship has sailed. I like Girardi. I always liked Girardi. I thought he was, he was the right level of intensity for a Yankees manager. But it's unlikely that he'll come back if Brian Cashman's still the GM. He'll want to go in another direction. Daniel says, what's one big name player you think we could get in this winter other than re-signing Judge? I would say Edwin Diaz makes a lot of sense. He's a closer. Yankees have some bullpen issues. Jacob deGrom is a free agent. He's, borderline freak in terms of ability. But that also comes with a lot of injury risks. Carpenter, he'll probably want regular at-bats next season. Not sure if the Yankees can give it to him, but I would definitely try and re-sign him. YouTube commenter says, what was your take on Holmes saying he was available? So I mentioned that at the onset of this broadcast. Something fishy going on there. The fact that Boone said he wasn't available, but he says he was. Something is fishy with that. Kobe Jeet says Efros would have been big for us. Kudos to Chapman. Definitely not kudos to Chapman. Kudos to Cashman for trading for him, but unfortunately the injury bug just bit us bad this year. There's not really much you can do about that. The Montas one was foreseeable because he had shoulder injuries earlier in the year. And typically, shoulder injuries are tough to come back from. Look at Corey Kluber. He's never been the same since his shoulder injuries. Michael Pineda, same deal. Same with Miguel Andujar and Greg Bird as hitters. Shoulders are tough to fix, and I know. I've got one that's really struggling. Victor says he's not against Girardi coming back. I'm not either. Andrew says Steinbrenner acts like he doesn't care. I don't know what you expect from him. He's not going to come out and make a statement after game 3. But that's something where, George Steinbrenner, right? People say, we want George back. We want George. And it's not necessarily like making the trades of prospects for washed up players that they want back. But George Steinbrenner would have been in the stadium last night. He would have been sitting either in the, first row or in a box in the, owner's suite. More than likely, he would have been in the first or second row in a big jacket, looking at his players, And then after the game, he would have said something along the lines like, well, I'm paying Garrett Cole to win tomorrow. He better show up. Or he would have said something like, Boone has been here since 2018. He needs to turn it around or there's going to be problems. That's what we miss. Because, George Steinbrenner was one of us. I think the Yankees could use a blowout tonight. Like I said earlier, if you jump up 5 or 6 runs in the first inning and really just kind of put the pressure on the Guardians and take the pressure off of your starting pitcher, I don't think Cole is going to give up 6 runs to the Guardians. I could see Garrett Cole, he's had a couple of guys on base against the Guardians earlier this series. I could see him making a mistake and serving up a 3-run home run. In fact, if I had to bet, I would say that if the Yankees lose, that would be the difference. Like a random home run, maybe from somebody who hasn't hit many this year. You can see just a freak occurrence. That's baseball, right? But what you really want to do is score about 5 or 6 runs early to take the pressure off of him so that he's not worried about making that perfect pitch with runners on base. And then it becomes a stressful day tomorrow, Game 5. So I wanted to thank you guys. We're getting near the end of the season. Let me know in the comments what kind of off-season content you're looking for. I'm looking for, evergreen stuff that people will watch all winter. I really enjoyed making that Aaron Judge documentary. And I know we'll talk about rumors and all that stuff, but I feel like everybody does that. So I want to make some different stuff. I really want to showcase some of the editing type stuff that I've been working on. And so, give me your thoughts on, little mini documentary features you'd be interested in watching and top 5s, all that type of stuff. And hopefully we won't get started on it right away. Whenever the season does end, I'm going to release a postmortem, or if they win the World Series by some miracle, a celebratory recap video. So I'm working on both of them. And if the Yankees exit after tonight's game, you can expect that postmortem video tomorrow. And then more content rolling out as the winter goes along. So thanks to everybody who joined. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We're about 7 hours from game time, about 7.5 hours. And this is going to be a big one. So everybody just sit tight. Try not to bite your fingernails too much. And I will see you after the game.